we were driving so slow and you couldn't see nothing. I couldn't see the lines on the highway. I couldn't see the ditch. I couldn't see the 1,000-foot cliffs on the other side. Like, couldn't see nothing. I could have just pulled over and stopped, but that's probably not very safe either. If no one else can see, you're gonna end up getting rammed by some truck or something.
If that isn't a metaphor for cryptocurrency. How cool, brothers and sisters. Welcome to AquaBrain TV.
Hey guys, it's John from Squampton Snowskates, Basik Boards. You also know me as Blazing Zoomer, which you can find me on social media at Instagram as Blazing Zoomer, Discord, Blazing Zoomer. Instagram, I also have Squampton Jon. And where else do you find me? You don't find me on Facebook anymore, so don't try. We're going to be doing a little chat about cryptocurrency, a follow-up from last time's discussion, as well as some news about the gathering that happened last weekend.
Hey, John, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Good to see you, Drew.
Dude, this is awesome. It seems like it was just yesterday, but it was actually what, in December or?
I don't even remember, because you know what? I wrote down some notes for this follow-up, and as I look at them now, I see my cryptocurrency has sunk beyond what I was going to say last time. So I think it is what it is. Yeah. I'm still smiling.
I mean, we could get into that. We can get into that right now. But I wanted to start by asking you about the house hunt, because I know last time we talked, you guys were looking for a shop, house. How's that going?
It hasn't got much further than when we spoke last. To be honest, it's been really rough. Just this week alone, I have been outbid on 2 separate houses. Man, yeah, people are just throwing money around. It's crazy. And I'm not willing to play the game with people. I'm not trying to get into a bidding war. That's stupidity.
Yeah, I mean, if it's anything like Boise, it's just way over what asking is, and you got 10 people with cash, and it's crazy. I mean, think about it. If Boise, I don't know when it started to really take off, the prices there, but let's say it was 5 years, right? Let's say you've owned your place for 5 years. Well, you sell now, you're probably doubling your money. Yep.
So you got all these people that, maybe they bought their house, let's say it was 300,000 5 years ago. Now it's worth 6. Well, they have at least 300,000 to throw around now, cash. Yeah. Right. I mean, so it's tough. It's tough for sure. It's tough. I was talking to Brian Wilson last week, funny enough, and he said the same thing, because he's been looking for a compound in Idaho that a bunch of people can, a lot of people, maybe, Snowskate crew, throw down some money.
Nice.
And that everyone is a part owner in a compound that we can all go, do our thing at. He's been talking about this for a few years. Yeah. And when I brought it up last weekend, he just rolled his eyes and he's like, yeah, that's not going to happen. Not going to happen anymore. Those days are long gone.
Man, and it wasn't that long ago. It was possible.
No, it really was. It was right before COVID. We were talking about it.
And now it's just, I don't know. Well, it's a mass exodus, first of all, of you've got governmental issues, local governmental issues, and that's just causing this exodus. And these people are selling at such a rate that you can't play
the same
ball
here. I imagine it's the same. People are trying to leave the city. A lot of people can work remotely from home now. Yeah. And they just don't want to deal with, a potential next shutdown where they can't do anything and they're stuck in a, 30-foot by 30-foot box.
In the middle of the city, get somewhere where you can get some chickens or something going,
Yeah, man, you got to feed yourself. You never know when it's going to hit the fan. I mean, it's hit the fan. It was hitting the fan for the last 2 years straight, just raining on us.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've been, I actually just spent the day in the garden. I mean, that's a little bit of an exaggeration. I didn't spend the whole day, but just messing with my irrigation system, just changing out the little heads, make sure I'm getting coverage, because I'm putting in a couple more no-dig garden beds. I've got a elderberry tree I'm putting in. So hopefully I'll do an update. It's very, allegedly, actually not allegedly, I mean, it's been a medicine for decades and years
Okay.
and eons or whatever, for a long time.
Okay.
It's it has immuno properties, so it's
What does it
good
look
for
like?
the
Would I have seen it
immune.
before?
It's a little tiny, I bet you have seen it around. It grows in bunches of little tiny berries. So it's
Okay.
like little tiny black, or I think there's even red, but I'm not sure if the red are as medicinal, but just
Okay.
a clunch, a clunch. Hey, we're making up words here on AquaBrain. But anyway, yeah, I'm excited because next year, hopefully I'll have a little bit of a harvest, and I can try to do some syrup or something. And
Okay, cool.
yeah, just you gotta do something.
Yeah, I hear you.
Well, that's a bummer, man. I hope I wish you well on your hunt.
You know, I keep telling myself I'm trying to stay positive, and I keep telling myself these places are falling through because the one is coming.
Right. Now,
Right?
is that
The right one.
does that mean you guys are not that you don't have a shop?
No, we don't have a shop. We haven't had a shop for, I would say, almost about a year now.
It's no good, man.
No, we've got a storage unit that most of our shop is sitting in. It's not the kind of storage unit that you can work out of.
Ugh,
So yeah,
man.
we're working hard at trying to find something, but I would tell you all about the place I'm looking at right now, but
Don't do
that's
it.
just that's jinxing myself. So I'm
Don't
just
do it.
not going to do it. I
Well,
did that last week at the gathering. I told everyone about this place I was going to go see, and it got snatched out from under me so
man.
fast I didn't even know it hit.
Ugh. Well,
Not to mention I drove 10 hours to get there to see it.
oh, no way. Really? That far?
Yeah. Yeah. It was on the opposite side of the province. It was north of Montana. Like it's way over
Oh,
there.
wow.
And I got there. I
Beautiful
looked at the
country, I bet.
place. Oh my God. It was so nice. Like right away, I was, oh, this is so awesome. Like we had just seen the bighorn sheep on the side of the highway. So I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. There's a big Labatt brewery right there, right, where they brew kokanee and a bunch of other beers. There's some a big lumber mill there, so there's work, and there's an actual pretty small town, but it's a town with all kinds of stuff. A lot of the places I've looked at are like there's a post office and a general store and a gas station, and that's it.
Yeah. What about like some of the old gold mining country?
I've been looking. Yeah, lots of places that have like originally when I first started looking, I had looked at a few places that had originally been mines or had mine activity on them. Not that I'm trying to get away from that, but it's just not what I've been finding for the last few months.
Yeah.
Um,
That area I'm talking about, right? Okanagan, I guess it's.
Yeah. I mean, the Okanagan isn't really the kind of area I'm looking for. For me, that's just too dry.
Oh, gotcha.
They deal with the wildfires in that area every year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places that get it here and there, but I feel like the Okanagan area gets it every year. They're just so dry there, right? So,
well, I ran into this. The reason I bring it up is because I ran into this. I don't know. It's like the Canadian version of PBS. So I can't.
Okay.
But it's a show called Gold Mines and Ghost Towns, or Ghost Towns and Gold Mines, or something like that.
I'm sure I've seen it. I've seen it.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's like these two guys. One guy's kind of like a storyteller. The other guy's just very eager, and he talks about all these, that area. I guess Danville, I think, is in Washington, but it's just up from that. It's just like crazy history in there, through
very rich mining history in this.
Yeah.
In most of BC, really. There's a lot. Like that was the main thing back in the day, right? It was gold mining.
I know we're kind of getting away from our thing. Well, let's talk about mining, right?
Oh boy. Yeah, mining, the old crypto market. Well, what can I say? I think the last time we spoke, I don't know if I revealed the kind of money that my wallet was looking at that point, my crypto wallet. I think I may have spilled some beans and said that it had gone from $200 was the initial investment, and it had skyrocketed up to 460,000 US dollars.
And then it kind of came down a little bit, right?
Yeah, it came down a little bit, and then came down a little bit more, and then came down a little bit more, and now it's worth about 20,000.
Ooh, boy, that's
Yeah,
volatile.
that's a tough one.
That
It's a
is.
tough one. You know, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna buy a second house.
No.
Not so much, but as I didn't sell anything when it was high, quite
Yeah.
possibly a big mistake. I also haven't sold anything while it's been low, so I'm just hoping that, you know, like the stock market and everything else, you know, it
Yeah.
eventually comes back. I think the big problem is government interfering with it at the moment, right?
And they're
Every
getting into
second,
it. Yeah.
yeah, every second day you got, you know, someone leader of some country saying that, oh, cryptocurrency is going to ruin us, and we need to, you know, it's, and you know what they usually do is they'll try and say like, well, because it's not centralized, we can't, you know, we can't get in there and help people, and there's just too many scams going on, it's dangerous, we just want to make it safe for everyone. Where have we heard
Yeah,
that before?
let's
It's for
regulate.
your
Well,
own safety, we're going to regulate it for your own
right,
safety.
right.
You know,
We'll save the day. Dun, dun, dun,
yeah,
dun.
yeah, so
Oh
I
man.
mean, it is what it is. I wrote, like I said, I wrote some notes. I'm going to quickly look through the book to see what I think. One of the main points, I don't know how much we touched on it last time, but um, was, you know, there's so many different currencies in the crypto market that you could be buying, selling, whatever, trading.
Yeah.
Um, and Bitcoin is always, you know, always the one that everyone knows. It's the one that, you know, that's got the most uh, bravado, or whatever you want to call it, right? Like
Like street
that's
cred. I don't know.
street cred, sure, yeah.
Everybody
But
knows.
I think what I've really learned most about Bitcoin lately is that Bitcoin is fully decentralized and will always be fully decentralized, right? There's no, you know, yeah, there was a group or a person, Satoshi Nakamoto, that apparently created this, but as soon as it was done, they threw away the key and never been seen since or heard from since. So going on into the future, there's no one to just all for the government to come in and say, hey, you need to change this, because there is no one to say that to,
Do you
right?
know what it
Bitcoin's its own
maxes
entity.
out at? Do you know what the max is?
I was just talking about this yesterday with someone. They had asked.
Is it
I don't know the max
500,000?
number. I don't want to. I don't want to just make something up on the
Okay.
spot. Whatever it is, let's say it's. I heard this number thrown around, 21 million.
Okay.
And that's 21 million Bitcoins, not $21 million in Bitcoin, because clearly it's gone far beyond
Sure.
that. Let's say it's 21 million Bitcoin. And that is like, they also know that it was set so that the last Bitcoin will be mined in whatever year it is, 2040 or something like
Okay.
that. Which means like it was planned out so well that they know all those things, right?
Yeah.
You know, and as time goes, the mining becomes more and more difficult
Well, I
and
was
more
going to say
expensive. Because it's more
of
expensive,
energy,
it's more
right?
difficult, or because it's more difficult, it makes it more expensive.
It's just an energy, right? The
It's an
energy that
energy thing.
goes into
It's an
the,
energy thing for sure. The people that make the most money off mining Bitcoin are in places where the energy costs are very low, right? So
yeah.
one of those places, I don't know what you've heard about El Salvador, other than it's a dangerous place to visit, which from my understanding is changing rapidly,
Sure.
just because of the Bitcoin thing, really.
Oh,
So El Salvador has brought Bitcoin on as their national currency. I mean, I believe they still
What?
have I believe they still have their own national currency, but Bitcoin is also seen as
Whoa.
fully accepted countrywide or nationwide. And yeah, at the moment they're building Bitcoin City, which I can't remember exactly where it is, but I believe it's very close to the borders of whatever,
So one of the
whatever
borders.
El Salvador is bordering on its southern border.
I'd bring up a map,
now,
but I'm not that savvy.
yeah, on the ocean. I do have my phone beside me. I could bring these things up while we speak, but
That's all right.
so what they're using, which is genius, is they're using the geothermal energy from the volcanoes
Oh,
to as their,
whoa.
that's their main power source there. So that's what they're using to mine with, which makes it incredibly cheap for that country to mine Bitcoin.
And I would imagine this is the government probably
this is the government,
right?
Absolutely. The president or prime minister, I'm not sure what they have down there. I think it's president. He's a he's a big he's a big Bitcoin supporter.
Wow.
And he knows a lot about it. There's a lot of great videos on YouTube actually of him speaking. And
I wonder about the private citizens down there being able to mine. I wonder if there's anything.
Well, yeah, I imagine for the most part the Salvadorian public probably doesn't have a lot of money, right? It's a poor country. The government's making a lot, and whether that will trickle down to the common folk, I have no idea. But they and again, I haven't studied enough about it, but I imagine that if he's as smart as I think he is, just by some of the things I've heard him talk about Bitcoin, he's gonna share the wealth. I mean, that's, you want to make you want to make your people really love you and vote for you again.
Yeah.
Right.
So sprinkle a little Bitcoin their way.
That's it. So I think what they did originally was they had, I'm going to get the name wrong too, but they basically gave credit cards or debit cards to a huge portion of the population. I think like 80% or something.
Okay.
Got these Chiva cards or whatever. And the Chiva cards came preloaded with Bitcoin. So everybody got a little, not a lot, obviously, right? It's just a little bit, but it was the fact that, how whatever the percent of people that had bank accounts before, this surpassed that.
Wow.
So now you've got a big portion of the population that has access. They have their own crypto wallets, which I believe were only, again, this is just speculation because I don't know enough.
Go to Google. Google knows.
That's it. I think
entertainment. This is entertainment.
The Chiva card and what they were doing is Bitcoin based. I don't know if the wallet that they all got, you can also have Ethereum and all these other things. I imagine they're trying to push Bitcoin as hard as
NFTs.
they can. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if, to be honest, I don't know if there's NFTs on a Bitcoin blockchain.
Oh,
I'm not sure. And funny enough, yesterday I saw my very first Bitcoin ATM machine.
Really? Up in Squampton?
No, I'm actually on Vancouver Island right now in Victoria.
Oh, beautiful.
On a work contract. Yeah. So
man,
I was just before we got on the ferry yesterday, we were at this gas station on a reserve. It was on one of the reserves, this gas station we went to, and I saw Bitcoin sold here. I was like, what?
Wow.
And I went and I had to go check it out. I didn't need to go inside, but I had to go check it out. Yeah, they had a little Bitcoin ATM machine in there. It's pretty cool.
So you're talking about the card, and that I recently learned about a coin called Voyager.
Okay.
Are you familiar with the Voyager?
I don't know Voyager.
Okay.
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Because my crypto has done this ever since Remembrance Day.
Okay. Is that a Canadian thing?
If you guys don't have Remembrance? Oh, you don't have Remembrance Day. It's Memorial Day.
Oh, gotcha.
What day are you guys
remembering?
Day? The same thing. The D-Day and the veterans that fought in the war for us.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Sorry, I
never forget. never forget.
Stupidity of mine.
Yeah.
What day do you guys have Memorial Day on?
Gosh, I have no idea.
It's a whole weekend, isn't it? Memorial Day weekend and everything.
I think it. Yeah, I think you're correct.
Okay.
It's sold
For us. For us, it's November 11th.
Okay.
So I believe
probably the same day.
I was just looking at my graph of what happened. What happened to all my funds?
So there's a guy. I want you to tell me about what happened, but I've got to interrupt you. There's a guy at my work that says I'm not very American because I don't watch a lot of sports and follow sports. So now that I don't even know when. What did you say? November?
Yeah, ours is November 11th.
November 11th, Veterans Day.
Same thing?
Well, Veterans Day.
No, for us, it's called Remembrance Day.
Okay, so we honor our veterans.
Yeah. Same day?
On November 11th.
Okay, so yeah, basically the same thing, right? We call it Remembrance Day, but that's what it is. We're remembering the veterans that died for us,
okay,
for our freedoms.
All right.
Speaking of which, I heard this funny thing the other day. The only mistake that we ever made here was thinking that we lived in free countries.
Well, recently we've been, not to digress, we're going to go back to this Remembrance Day story because I so rudely interrupted you. But since you bring that up, it's interesting because recently there's been a border crossing issue. And if that doesn't tell you that you're just moving from one open air prison to another, and you got to make sure that you got your papers and whatever requirements that the guards seem to.
Are you talking about the northern border or the southern border?
I think either. I mean, just in general, right? Okay. And the reason, when I first heard this, I heard about the Monarch butterfly, which is of course another the Monarch and all that stuff, conspiracy, whatever business. But the Monarch butterfly, right, flies from gosh, I don't even know the story, but it's thousands of miles. The Monarch butterfly flies into Mexico, and they don't stop and show papers or anything like that, right?
No, I wouldn't think so.
So I don't know. Just something to think about anyway.
Have you seen the Monarch migration at Mount Hood?
See, so they go into Mexico. So it's like,
it is wild.
Is it really?
The last time we were at Mount Hood.
Yeah.
It was like driving through a swarm of mosquitoes. We're trying to ride and you're just getting whack, whack, whack. You feel bad. Oh yeah, you feel bad. You're like, oh my God, I'm killing all these beautiful butterflies, but there's billions of them. They're just everywhere. Yeah, it's crazy.
None of them have passports.
If you watch, if you watch,
I'm sorry. I don't have the, Adrian's
Snowskate video.
Yes.
If you watch that, you'll see there's certain clips of us at Mount Hood with the butterflies everywhere.
Oh wow!
You probably don't notice it until someone tells you, but next time you see that video,
I'm gonna go watch it.
You'll see the monarchs are everywhere. It's crazy.
That's a great video, by the way, and I believe it's on Vimeo.
Vimeo. Yes, it sure is.
It's a great video.
You can watch it at -32, -6 Decentraland at the Basik Board Shop.
Basik Board Shop. We're still going to talk about your story, but let's talk about the Basik Board Shop now that you brought it up. So what's the update on that?
Things have been pretty slow for me. Again, as soon as things kind of tanked in the crypto world, I started realizing that might not be my retirement fund. So I got to do other things. But I don't spend as much. I think a lot of people don't spend as much time as they once did in that game because a lot of things have changed recently. I know I told you about the POAPs, which are the little tokens that you can collect by going to different places, and
they're like little NFTs, right?
Like a ticket stub, but as an NFT version.
Yeah.
So that I don't know, a few months ago, the people who make POAP decided that they wanted to make money off it. beyond
Oh,
beyond. I don't know if they were making money somehow before, but now it's become more of a financial thing, and they want to charge people. And then at one point it was a free product, and I was told, because I was having issues with it, I was told, oh yeah, go talk to this guy. He's kind of our guy in Decentraland. He
okay.
does all the POAP stuff there. I was like, yeah, sure. So I went and talked to him, and he's like, yeah, yeah, you can get one of our dispensers and this and that, and depending on how many events you want to throw a month, that's how we charge you. And I was like, charge me? What do you mean you charge me? And he's like, well, yeah, it's a 10 to 15 bucks a month US. And I was like, okay, but are you guaranteeing me that it's going to work every time? Because I have a lot of issues with it not working. And then then all the people that are visiting my land or whatever, they start complaining about it too. And then my day is no longer enjoyed chatting with friends. It's now I got to figure out these issues for these people that are upset with me.
Yeah, you're a customer service guy now.
Right. So I asked them that, and they said, well, I don't know what problems you're talking about. And I kind of laughed at them, and I said, well, when you guys can guarantee me that I won't have any more issues, I will think about paying for this service. In the
Right.
meantime,
Wow.
not a chance. And I think a lot of people went that same route because you just don't see the same push anymore. Like, there was so much discussion about POAP hunting and farming and all this. And, like, I was on these forums where people are like telling you, okay, if you go here, you can get a POAP. You go here, you can get a POAP. And it was just a big collecting thing. And people are buying and selling them even.
Oh, wow.
And
so that's what happened.
that seems to have died off.
Yeah. So,
and I think I think it's because they started charging money, and nobody wants to pay for something that they had free for so long.
it's kind of like Facebook. No one wanted to pay. No, like the pay to play with that would never have worked. So they just saturated it with all sorts of advertising, and now it's like,
yeah. And then once now that you got the advertisers in there, they expect you to act a certain way. So a lot of people are mad at Zuck or whoever it is, and they're saying, well, these guys are essentially making the rules as they go, and they get to say who says what and who can't say what. But at the end of the day, chances are it's probably their advertisers. It's probably not them saying we don't want this kind of speech. It's probably the advertisers saying, you let that speech go and we're cutting you off.
Well, right. And it's a private company. You're talking about the advertisers, right? They gotta appease their shareholders, right? So it's a private company. Yeah. They're not gonna, there's no like, oh, my First Amendment, blah, blah, blah. No, not in a private company. It's kind of like YouTube, right? I hope I'm not dropping any bombs that are going to get me whatever. I don't have enough subs or anything to even make any money off this. So you're not going to, but yeah, if I did, then maybe they'd go back and said, he said T-ism, and we gotta, it's like, oh boy. But because it's a private company.
If you're not monetized on YouTube yet, I think you can pretty much get away with a lot more. If you're monetized, that's your problem. You're just worried every video you make. Oh shoot, did I say something wrong, or did I do this? Because there goes my money.
So if I was to get to that point, then potentially, because they do like the retroactive, so they could go back and so I would have to like, I may get hit with a ton of like
just some of the things that we've talked about, you would have been demonetized.
Oh yeah. I mean, so like, I could keep them up. I just wouldn't be able to make any money. I mean, a lot of that anyway.
Yeah.
But tell me about November 11th.
November 11th, right? So when I was looking through my chart, because leading up to Christmas time or whatever, my brother, he had said to me, because he was just getting into the crypto stuff too, and he's been into stocks for years now, which I wasn't, right? So he said, watch it come December. He's like, there's going to be a huge sell-off. You're going to see the market's going to crash. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, it happens every year.
Wow.
I'm like, what are you talking about with crypto? He's like, well, I don't know about crypto, but he said the stock market crashes every year in December, because I'll probably get this wrong, but people, stockholders sell off so that they're not showing big gains, I think, for come tax season.
No, weird.
It has something to do with taxes either way.
there's like a whole, a way to
right?
game the system, right?
So the fact that he had told me this happens every year and it hadn't happened yet, but then sure as shit, I watched it happen. Boom, there, everything crashes. I'm like, okay, he knew what he was talking about. And I'd said it to some other people and they're like, you're nuts. And then within a week, they're like, no, I looked into it. You're right. It happens every year. I was like, well, there you go. So, the other day, leading up to this, knowing that we had this, this chat coming up, I thought I would look into some things. And I looked at my chart and it showed just after November 11th. And I believe, which is why to me, I remember it because it's Remembrance Day. Just after that, might have been the 12th, 13th, maybe 14th, the market just tumbled. Boom, crypto market just imploded on itself.
Maybe they call it that on purpose. Remember to sell off.
That's it. Well, that's how I'm going to remember it from now on. That's for sure.
Dang.
So yeah, that was basically when it happened. And it's, some of them, made a bit of a comeback, but really even Bitcoin and Ethereum are both pretty low right now. Like now's a good time to buy. Not giving any advice here, but now would be a good time to buy stocks too, I imagine.
Wow.
Like if you ask me, and I'm not a stock guy, but if I was, you know what I'd be buying? I'd be buying stocks and airlines because they've been in the shitter for the last 2 years. But what does everyone want to do right now?
No kidding.
Everyone wants to travel. Everyone wants to go on those vacations that they missed out on the last 2 years. The airlines are going to be
and may I also suggest car rental companies,
right? For
car
sure.
companies.
Anything that has to do with vacation.
Now
they just
dropped the requirement in the States for transportation.
What do you mean?
You don't have to.
Okay. I heard Biden's
going
to fight that though. Biden's trying to fight that, isn't he?
Well, and I've heard one of the reasons is that they kind of have to, because if they don't, then in the future, there's going to be no like, the CDC, blah, 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 recommends,
So it was the CDC that recommended axing the masks at this point.
No, I'm just saying like they recommended that it was I think it was the health. Honestly,
from a lot of the stuff I've seen, even the CDC and the FDA, like some of their remarks that they've made lately are like, well, CNN reported this. It's like, yeah, but you're the FDA or the CDC. Yeah. Why are you listening to what CNN says?
I know.
They're supposed to be listening to what you say, not the other way around.
CNN. I mean,
yeah, right?
CNN. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So John, what does the future hold here for what's your game plan
for Blazing Zoomer?
For Blazing Zoomer.
For John.
Well, I mean, you got the store, you put a lot of, you can still go there and you can still buy basic boards and stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can still go to the store in Decentraland. You can buy powder surfers directly right there as NFTs that come with the physical board. There's links in there to Squampton Snowskates web store. I'm going to be adding links to Hovland.
Okay.
I was just because we had the gathering last weekend and Brasky and Ryan Palmer were up.
Okay.
So I chatted with both of them about it. Brasky's, he's the social media guy for Hovland, and he said, yeah, absolutely, like reach out and we'll work it all out. So, and I have spoken with Bryce as well at Boyd Hill. So I'm going to try and get, everyone on board. So I don't only have, a basic Squampton shop. I want to have the shop where you go to get, all your stuff related, house surfing, snow skating. Eventually I want to get it skateboarding, snowboarding, whatever, just get it all in there.
Yeah.
Whatever we can. And then that's just for that game. Sandbox is another game that still hasn't come out.
Okay.
We just finished the second alpha season. So basically they'd give you like 2 or 3 weeks was the first alpha season. And basically that was just like, their alpha testing of the game.
Sure.
There was like
beta testing.
I don't know. Let's say there was 20 let's say there was 20 lands that you could go and explore and do different quests. So first time around, yeah, I went and did all the quests. I did everything I could, and at the end, they even paid me. I
Oh,
got
wow.
paid. I got paid 1,000 sand for just playing the
doing it.
game and doing all the quests, and 1,000 sand at the time when I did that first season,
Yeah.
one sand was $7 US.
Okay.
So I made $7,000
Wow.
just playing this video game for 3 weeks.
Wow.
And not like all day. Like I was just putting like an hour or two a day and just like playing around.
Pretty good return on investment.
Oh yeah. I mean, the only reason I got to play that, I believe, was because I had bought land.
Okay.
Right. So I don't think they were allowing everyone to play last time. The alpha season 2 just happened a couple weeks ago, and that they allowed everyone to play.
Okay.
That one I didn't get paid on. They did a raffle.
Oh.
And depending on how many quests you finished in the
You
game.
got an anonymous leash.
What's that?
You got an anonymous leash if you won the raffle.
Yeah, exactly. But I missed out on the raffle. I didn't win. So I didn't get paid for that last season. Which is, it is what it is. It's fine. I would have liked to get paid for it. That extra, 1,000 sand was nice. But mostly what it's doing is it's just giving me motivation and ideas as to what I can build on my land, right?
Okay.
Seeing what other people are doing. And actually I've been working on it for a while, and I was chatting with a guy, King Mizzo in Decentraland. He's a rapper from Canada, originally from Toronto. Now he's in Vancouver here. And he was doing live shows in Decentraland.
Okay.
And so I started chatting with him because I really like his music. I like his attitude. He's a really positive, forward-thinking person, and he's got a bunch of different platforms in the Web3 space, and he's doing a lot of different crypto things. He just launched his own crypto token, so you can buy RAP token now, and that's his. Which falls into place with a bunch of other things. He does Color the Blockchain, where he's like, he's generating funds that he is going to be using to give to people in, I don't want to say third world countries, but probably third world countries, like, less fortunate people that want to get into the crypto space and the Web3 space.
Oh, that's
cool. He's working to get funds together to help fund these people, like get computers to less fortunate people and whatnot. So it's really cool what he's doing. I really like what he's about. So I asked him, I was chatting with him in the game, and then I reached out and said, hey, I love what you're doing. I love your music. I kind of threw in there that I used to work for Live Nation, and he's like, oh, really? So I've been trying to get him on with Live Nation, right? I keep putting his name in the ears of, the reps that I used to work with.
Nice.
Anyway, so he's asked me to build out his game in Sandbox. So I've been working on a game for him, revolve about rap.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
Cool. I've built a city at this point with a subway that you can go down underground and hop on the subway, take the train to a different station.
People like beatboxing.
These were things that I had to. Well, that's it. That's what we want. We want it to be like I'm sure there's going to be like drug dealers that you either maybe you want to become friends with them and you want to try and sell their wares, or maybe you find the wrong drug dealer and they get you hooked on the heroin or some meth or something. And then part of the game will be you're going to have to keep finding that score or your guy's going to die or something.
Well, this is not a real. This is all in the metaverse.
Yes. This is not real life. I'm not condoning selling heroin or but in the game, so we've got a bunch of ideas where we'll have like a graffiti, like you'll come across graffiti on a wall somewhere, and part of the game will be you have to tag over that graffiti with his rap graffiti or something, and that'll get you points in the game. I built a stadium with a stage and like all the seating, and like it's full on. So you'll be able to go, you'll be able to throw live shows in there. We got Sandbox. This is in the sandbox, yeah. So, you know, working on some stuff. He also started, you know, versus, you know, the versus battles.
Gosh,
I
not
think
off the top of my head, but
Timbaland and Swiss Beats started it right back
okay.
at the beginning of COVID. So they had this idea that they would square off against each other, and I don't know if it's how it started, but I know that's how it works now. Is they'll play, you know, this guy goes on stage and he'll play one of his hits, and then it goes to this guy and he plays one of his hits, and then it goes back to this guy and he plays another one of his hits.
Okay.
And it just goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then the crowd gets to decide who won the versus battle.
Okay, now is
So
that
it's not like freestyle battles.
Is it streamed
Yeah,
somewhere?
yeah, it was all streamed during COVID. It was all streamed. You could watch versus battles. You can YouTube it or Google it, and there's all like so many different groups went up, like rappers went up against each other. Really cool stuff. And so this guy King Mizzo has done that in the Metaverse now, Decentraland. So we've got the Metaverses. So he gets guys, you know, he'll get rappers that, you know, some of them don't know anything about crypto or anything about the Web3 space, but he's, you know, he's trying to push it more and more and more, and get these, you know, some of these guys may not be very known. I don't know, but he's helping get them out there by putting them on this thing. And so it's all really cool. And then hopefully through that, we gain some momentum with what he's doing, and then what I'm helping him do in Sandbox. I know he's been getting, you know, he's been getting paid to make wearables, like avatar wearables for certain companies and stuff, right? Like,
yeah,
lots of companies have come on board lately. Like I just hopped on Decentraland last night, and there's an Absolute Vodka spot.
Wearable.
So no, well, yeah,
like
there's wearables too, but this was a piece of land that was like Absolute Vodka. I was like, oh, cool, what's this? And I went and checked it out, and they were actually live streaming stuff from Coachella.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So you could watch and like be part of Coachella in the Metaverse, and then there was all these other things going on that had to do with Absolute Vodka.
So it's evolving for sure.
It's evolving. There's a Samsung plot of land where you can go and like, they always have these little games or quests you have to complete, and then you'll get like, you know, avatar wearables again, or whatever it is that they're, you know, giving away.
Okay. Not the coins. So the coins have kind of gone by the wayside, or not the coins, but the tokens.
Yeah, I mean, so this group that I'm part of in Decentraland called The Last Slice, and the guy who runs it, Lastrom, I was talking with him a bunch about POAPs, because he was the guy I bought my POAP dispenser from originally. Okay. So he does coding, and he does a bunch of stuff. And the group that I'm involved with that he started does all kind, like I'm pretty sure they're responsible for the Absolute Vodka thing, Samsung thing. Like they're making real money. And I could, if I, you know, dedicated myself just to working with the group and trying to like create some funds, but
but you're getting your skills up is what you're doing. You're working with this
trying
rapper
to get my skills up. Those guys are like ahead of they're above my level for sure.
But the game sounds fun. I mean, that sounds
there's
awesome.
all kinds of stuff. For the most part, we're just partying in the game, right? Like you can tell by in the chats. You can tell in the chats just watching what everyone's chatting about. Like everyone's just getting wasted watching Coachella or whatever DJ is playing, you know. So
not a lot of spiritual stuff probably happening in the Metaverse at this point.
That's not true. I just don't know if it's as popular, but there's definitely like, I know I've come across like I don't know what it was, but there was a woman speaking, and she was doing like all kinds of like meditation stuff and like teaching you all kinds of stuff. There's a spot called Decentraland University in the game. Okay. And you can go there and learn all kinds of stuff. I'm sure in the future they're going to have all kinds of like courses or whatever that you could join or you know, and just watch or learn about stuff.
I started doing this thing called Heartfulness Meditation, where you meditate on your heart, and there's other little things, and it's definitely helped me break some bad habits and you know, help my disposition. So I was just wondering if there's like because I could see how even something like that could have a place in the metaverse.
Sure, of course. I mean, everything's going to have a place in the metaverse eventually.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I think between my downfall of my crypto and whatever else, I got kind of sour on it for a while. And I I was a victim of scams as well, right? So I got scammed a few times trying to buy things that I thought, were an investment.
Yeah.
There was, these avatar
What to
wearables
avoid.
made by Coca-Cola. And I was like, oh shit, that's something that, like, people collect Coca-Cola stuff anyway. Like,
Yeah.
buy that while it's new, and then in a few years that's probably going to be worth something because it was the first Coca-Cola, avatar wearables in the space. And I tried following links on the web page, and it didn't seem totally right, but they had that countdown ticker. You only have
Man.
so long to buy. And I was like, oh man, FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. I'm like, damn. And I bought,
They
I
got you.
hit purchase, and I was lucky because all it did was they just took the money that I had agreed to purchase with. But a lot of people get scammed and they hit purchase and their whole wallet empties.
Whoa,
Yeah.
beware.
Oh yeah, you got to be careful in this space. Which is why it's so easy, like I was saying, for the government to say, oh, we're just trying to keep it safe. We just, people are getting scammed. And it's true, people are getting scammed, but hey, people are getting scammed in everyday life too, right?
Real life,
you got to be careful, do your own research.
So I want to, go ahead.
All I was going to say was, that was my own fault. It was that fear of missing out, that FOMO. I was just like, oh man, I got to get that Coca-Cola thing. And there's a countdown timer. If I don't get it before that countdown timer's up, I'm going to miss out. When what I should have done was realize that when I clicked on the link, there was a Coca-Cola link in the bottom to its website, and I clicked on it, and it just took me to a 404, page not found.
Yeah.
But I was like, who knows? And I clicked on it. And I was like, oh shoot. And nothing came to my wallet. I was waiting for this Coca-Cola wearable to show up, and it never showed up. I was like, what the hell? And then I looked into it a little bit more, and I directly typed into my address bar to the Coca-Cola page. And then I saw the exact same page, but the links all worked. And I was like, uh-oh.
Oh man.
And at that point, I was just crossing my fingers that my wallet didn't get empty. Right. I was like, oh man, I just got scammed. I don't know how much I got scammed for. I can't remember what the cost on it was. And even if I did, I probably wouldn't say it because it sounds so stupid.
But you learned a valuable lesson, it sounds like.
I mean, the lesson, which is what I've heard from a lot of people, is at this point, NFTs are, a lot of people say NFTs are dead already, which I don't agree with. Okay. I don't agree with that because there's so many things coming into the NFT space still. Like maybe a lot of the stuff, like just the crappy art that people were selling for stupid amounts of money. I think a lot of that kind of stuff is kind of gone by the wayside. There's just too much scamming going on.
It's gone the way of the Beanie Baby.
Yeah. But what else is NFTs these days is smart contracts for houses, smart contracts for, in the future, I think it's going to be on a lot of things. So I wouldn't say NFTs are dead, but maybe the art space behind NFTs has hit a bit of a dip, and it might take a while.
It needs a resurgence of some sort, right? It needs something to jumpstart it.
I mean, you hear utility thrown around a lot, that word, like, well, your NFTs have no utility. Like, what good is a picture? What good is a picture of a flower with a smiley face if that's all it is?
So I heard that there's a restaurant that is selling NFTs and their seats. So you buy a seat in this restaurant and they give you a percentage every time somebody sits in that seat.
Damn, I like it.
Yeah.
Now that's utility. That is real world utility. That is awesome. I like that. Do you know what collection, what that was? No?
I don't. And it was the same guy told me about that, told me about the Voyager. And and I want to kind of go back to that for a second, because I haven't done any research on this, but apparently it's tied to the US dollar. So this could be some part of this this digital, thing where they want to drop the US dollar or whatever, but it's tied to it, I guess. And they're giving you 9%. Now, this is all hearsay, right? So this is somebody
Yeah.
telling me about this. Don't take my word, do your own Google search or whatever. But he told me that they're giving you 9% back if you have a certain amount in there. So,
Okay.
which can be.
So is that like a staking reward? Do you know? Like you have to stake your currency and then you're gaining off of that?
I think it's something like if you have $10,000. Oh gosh, I just can't even. I don't know. So, but it's something to look into, and I think there's no like this is going to last forever. This might last for a month. This whatever. I think they're trying to get people in, but they're giving interest like the bank used to do, essentially.
Okay.
But it's I heard like 9%. So it's something to look into, and I was like, oh. Crazy. I got to tell John when I talk to him about this.
I'll look into that for sure.
Look into that. I want to, before we get out of here, and we've talked for a while, but we haven't talked about the gathering. I need some snowskate stories, man. You had Wilson up there.
You know what? Wilson walked away with the first place trophy.
Nice.
He sure did.
I think I saw something about that.
He took one hell of a bail straight to his face, and then was the recipient of a big snow blast to the face from the next guy coming in behind him. But he got up and kept riding, and it was a good fall. So, I think it was Jesse who decided. Jesse D decided that
Jesse
Wilson was deserving of the first place trophy this year.
That's awesome. How did it feel? Now, how many years did you guys take off?
We took the last 2 years off. We didn't have a gathering the last 2 years, and I think this was the eighth gathering we've done. I know time flies. It's crazy. I remember thinking, and talking with Jesse, like, hey, we should throw an event. Like, these events are fun. We should throw an event. And then we did. It wasn't like, let's do it next year. We just threw it that year. So yeah, why don't you guys come on out and come to Whistler? We'll have an event. So yeah, it was the eighth annual, or mostly annual, gathering. There was a good turnout. Brian Wilson came up from south of the border. Jamie White and her guy Chris, they both came up from there in Wenatchee now.
Okay.
Who else came around? Adrian came up.
Nice.
That might be all the Americans that showed up. If I left you out, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Henry Sue was here, and cool. Henry was in Whistler for, I think, February, March, and April. I think he was in Whistler for 3 months. Yeah, they bought season passes. Like they were there. They were riding hard. Huh. And Noah was snow skating this time around, so that was good to see.
Nice. He's their son.
Yeah. Noah is, I want to say is he 8? He must be more than 8 now. I want to say he's 8, but he might be older than 8, because then, yeah, I don't know.
That's okay.
Sorry, Noah. Sorry, Henry.
That's just awesome,
Cameron,
man. To say.
Cameron, their youngest, right? She's only 3 or 4 years old, and she's out there on her skis just giving it. Wow. She was awesome. Yeah.
Groms.
Yeah, they're gonna be incredible shredders when they hit that age. Yeah, so they were out here for 3 months, and they really stuck around for the gathering, because we weren't going to do the gathering. And then, Jesse just, I'm sure it was, people requesting us to do it. And Jesse was like, yeah, whatever, let's do it. Let's do Easter weekend. And then,
boom.
And Henry was like, man, I'm supposed to leave right at the beginning of April. You guys are going to throw an event in 3 weeks. Like, man, I don't want to leave. And then his motorhome broke down. So in
Oh,
the end, he
geez.
had no choice. He was here anyway.
Wow.
But he got it fixed, and they took off. They took off, headed back east. As soon as the gathering was over, um, Jen, Jen and Big Jesse came from Big White. Um, there was, and the Japanese crew this year was huge,
Okay.
huge. We had,
Wow.
yeah, I mean, we had the first day. I think we had like just over 20 people. We had a pack of like 15 people all shredding together for a few hours there. It was really fun.
I mean, that's right.
Um,
You've been building the Japanese crew.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They love coming out for the gathering. Our buddy Ichiro, he's kind of like the head of the crew, and he's just like, as soon as it's gathering time, I reach out to Ichiro and he says, "Yeah, I'll be there. I'm gonna bring
Wow.
some friends, so bring extra skates." And he always brings people. I
Wow.
think the first day there was like, I want to say 6 or 7 the Japanese crew. I won't say guys because there was guys and girls. And then the second day there was even more.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah,
So
it was really good.
are you able to sell? Do you ever sell any of the used of the skates? The people, they're like, oh, I gotta take this back with us.
We have sold demo skates before. We've sold used skates. Whatever people want to buy, right? Whatever,
Yeah.
if they can't afford a new one, but they want to buy an old one, yeah, we'll sell it to them.
Man, you gotta get back, get your inventory back up, probably.
I know. We're hurting. We're hurting right now. But it was good, and we had good sponsors. Caribou Brewing takes care of us every year. Every year since the first year, Caribou Brewing has been there, had our backs. They give us a bunch of beer and a whole bunch of swag to give out. I think this year there was enough beanies that every person that came to the event got a beanie.
Wow.
There was
Nice.
sunglasses. There was hats. This is the Pacific hat is from Caribou.
Sought after Pacific.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was good. We had RDS, Red Dragons
Yeah.
skateboard company.
Wow,
So
man.
RDS sponsored us this year.
That's
Um,
cool.
we had the local dispensary, 99 North Cannabis Dispensary, was sponsoring us. Um, Pondex Clothing was sponsoring us, and that's Jesse's younger brother. He does handmade, all one of a kind, hand painted shirts, like clothing, not just shirts. He does all kinds of clothing.
That's cool. Hand painted.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There was quite a few people walked away with some one of a kind hand painted shirts, so it was pretty cool. I gave away 2 basic pow surfs. Um, what else? What else did we have there this year?
Did Brian bring any of his leashes up?
I don't.
Do you have any
I don't
left?
know. Is he? I don't think he still makes them. Does he?
Oh man. Well, him and this is gonna be terrible because I was just messaging with him. Adam, him and Adam, I guess, did a run.
Adam Cooper.
Adam
Adam
Cooper.
Cooper.
Yes, I don't know
Okay.
why.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
Adam. Sorry, but I guess they did a limited run. That's why I was wondering because I know they were raffle items. So I was wondering if
Yeah.
he had any. He probably raffled them all off.
Oh, I imagine that if they made more this year, they were gone for sure.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
I didn't know he was still making them. I thought he hadn't made them for years at this
No,
point. But
he
I like
hadn't.
his leashes. I
Man,
like his leashes,
me
right? They got
too.
the magnets in them, so you can bunch it up and it's not all dangling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't get that add-on when I got mine.
Okay.
I got mine
Okay.
it was a strapless video premiere in Seattle.
Okay.
And
Damn.
he had
You're going
some.
back.
Yeah,
That's
it
going
was, I
back.
mean, and I went with my wife and I was like, can I please get one of those for a gift, like a birthday or Christmas or
Yeah, yeah.
something? And she bought me one. And the thing is and I don't know how many years ago this was, but quite at least 10, over 10 probably.
Yeah.
And it's like
You
still
still use
holding
it?
together. I
Yeah,
still use
yeah,
it. It's my favorite leash, I mean,
yeah.
these things just, it's like you can tell the care and it was built with
Yeah.
love. You can tell
Yep.
Wilson built that thing with love, sitting
Yep.
there
That
with,
makes sense.
on his sewing machine, and it's
Yeah.
like,
Sounds like Wilson.
yeah, it's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
cool, John. Hey, let's let's rehash this. Let's talk Voyager coin later when we make a
Yeah. I'm gonna look
bazillion
into
dollars.
that Voyager coin. One of these days, we're gonna have to get you set up with a MetaMask wallet too, so you
I
can
know.
venture into
Got
the
to.
crypto world on your own.
I'm dragging my feet, dude. I'm like,
I mean,
I'm dragging my feet.
I recently, when was it? In February, January or February, I bit the bullet and I went with crypto.com.
Okay.
And
Is that a
just
wallet?
because I see them everywhere, right? Crypto.com. If you watch football games, they're sponsoring football games. You watch hockey games, they're sponsoring hockey games. Like crypto.com, they bought the Staples Center in LA.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
They got some money.
Yeah. So when I saw that,
Crazy.
I was like, shit, okay, they're going somewhere. So I bought in, and crypto.com is partnered with Visa. So I have a special metal, like it's actually metal Visa card that's through crypto.com, and it's basically a preload Visa card. So you don't get credit on it, but it's a preload card. So you can preload your crypto onto it. And as soon as it goes onto that card, it turns it into cash.
Whoa. Okay.
Like whatever currency you're at, right? Like,
Right.
so either US currency or Canadian currency.
Huh.
So then I can take that Visa card now and I can go buy stuff anywhere they accept Visa. They don't have to accept Bitcoin or anything.
Okay.
They just have to accept Visa, and I can use this card there, and it all came out of crypto.
Crypto.com. Whatever it was that you had suggested that I set up, I went and I got it.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't let me do it in Boise. It said it wasn't in my area yet.
Huh.
And so that like stopped the process.
I wonder, was that Binance?
I can't remember.
Because Binance has had issues. Binance has had issues in Canada as well. If you're in Ontario, you can't use Binance.
And
I
told
know
me
they've
like
had issues.
Nope, we're not even gonna let you, like, sorry, it's not in Boise. Like, whoa,
Okay.
all right.
Interesting.
I guess I'm not gonna use your service.
No, well, hey, I agree with that. If they're not going to let you, and I did the same with Binance. Once I saw that they were, I don't want to say messing around, but once I realized that they were, if you're in Ontario, you can't use it. So that worried me. I was like, okay, well, that's where our nation's capital is. And like, shit, if they're shutting them down in Ontario, how long is it till they shut all of Canada down? So I kind of like stepped back a bit from using that app. And then I also noticed that I could only make purchases of Bitcoin and Ethereum, even though they had, hundreds of different coins on there. I could only purchase those coins, or I would have to purchase USDT, which is the tether, the US dollar tether, whatever it is. I would have to buy that first and then buy coins, but they're just getting you with all the transaction fees when you do that. Man. Even though, those apps like Binance, crypto.com, their fees are pretty low. It's not like paying gas fees, through the open market. If you
That's right. We didn't even talk about gas this time. Remember last time we talked about gas fees?
We did, and it was crazy. But you know what? Gas fees, because crypto is down, gas fees are. I've been laughing. There's been a few times I'm like, 15? Only 15? Because that means pretty much like I could make a transaction and maybe only get charged $10 on a transaction instead of hundreds.
Wow.
This time last year, you're paying hundreds of dollars on every transaction. Yeah,
it's crazy how that's just like.
Speaking of USDT,
the number.
While I've got you on here, USDT, you might hear a lot of people talk about USDT because, like you said, with Voyager, it's attached to the US dollar.
Yeah.
But USDT, which is Tether, I watched this expose, I guess, on YouTube, and they were talking about Tether. And Tether, those guys that run Tether are pulling one of the biggest scams in history.
Really?
Like, yeah, like they've been called out a number of times by like, I think like the Supreme Court saying, hey, what you guys are doing is wrong. Like you're falsifying all this stuff. You're saying that you have all this liquidity when you don't. You don't have all that money. And what they're doing in turn is they're buying Bitcoin with their USDT, which, I mean, again, I'm not an economist or a financial guy, but if you're telling me that those tethers or USDTs are backed by nothing because it's, you know, they're faking their financials, I guess. Well, if they're buying Bitcoin with that, does that mean Bitcoin is going to be watered down to nothing because it's backed by Tether, which is backed by thin air?
See, and that's why I'm wondering, it always just makes me think there might be something behind this where it's like, let's make it unstable. And then we can,
for sure.
Then we can come flapping our wings in and say, hey, this is secure.
Yeah,
we will help you. We will help you.
Yeah, don't go with Bitcoin. Don't go with Ethereum.
Yeah.
There's no safety net there. But if you buy the whatever the US dollar that they're gonna make, Voyager. I can't remember. I heard
it might be
recently.
Voyager, dude.
It might be.
It might
but
be
I
Voyager.
Heard Canada's like I heard everyone's gonna do it, right? China's already done it. China already has a fully digitized yuan or whatever their currency is called.
Wow.
They already have a fully digitized one. And you mean, it's just a matter of time before Canada, the US, like all these countries follow suit and just have their own cryptocurrency, in turn telling people you have to use our cryptocurrency. You cannot use Bitcoin. You cannot use Ethereum. You cannot use these. I imagine that's coming down the pipeline at some point. Who knows? I know that's what they're going to try to do. Just depends on who we vote into power the next time's around, right?
Allegedly. And
Allegedly.
on that note, John, dude, it's been a pleasure talking to you, man. Thanks for coming back on the show.
No problem. Anytime.
At some point, and I learned my lesson. If I say I'm going to come up and I'm going to join the gathering next year, I'll blow my knee out.
Yeah.
Right? That's why I was like, Bryce, I'm coming. I'm coming to your, coming to the supernatural. And then of course my knee was just like,
oh yeah, you did blow.
There's no way. There's no way I'm going. I'm like, oh. Yeah. And so
next time we talk,
saying anything.
Next time we talk, hopefully I'm telling you all about my new property and our new shop.
Yeah.
And when you do come to the gathering, it will hopefully be at that property.
Oh, sick. I like the way you're thinking.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's where I'm going with that, hopefully.
The dream.
Yeah, that is the dream.
All right, everybody. John Stefan.
That's actually my middle name.
That's
actually my middle name.
Okay.
That's my middle name, Stefan. My last name is Samborski, but these days, I could be Russian or Ukrainian. You never know.
Hey,
so
come
you just
on.
don't want to.
Yeah, let's be safe, everybody. Blazing Zoomer on your social media. Go check out his Decentraland shop. Thanks for joining us on this installment of AquaBrain TV. Check us out at Brain Aqua. That's how you subscribe to us. And this is a video we think you'll like.